We're going into the woods with Sheriff Boyd and Sara, and that is also the episode title of today's Season 1, Episode 9 review of From. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It is the penultimate episode of Season 1. It is Into the Woods, and there's only 2 episodes remaining of this season. We've got quite a lot of deaths stacking up until this point. We've got another death in this episode, not really groundbreaking. I don't think we're going to shed too many tears. I actually had no idea who it was up until this episode. So, I mean, I think he's maybe just a character that they threw in there, but we'll discuss him, of course, later on when we get into the review. But yeah, with 2 episodes to go, what do you make of Season 1 so far? Are you enjoying Season 1?
Season 1 has been very good.
I think Season 1 picked up over the last couple of episodes as well. I felt like...
Might be about to go downhill a wee bit, but...
I felt like it started really strong and then took a couple of episodes... No, I wouldn't say took a couple of episodes off. I think the last couple of episodes weren't that great, but I think we go back into 6, 7 and 8 and I felt like they did pick up a lot. So, yeah, let's get into episode 9 then, and we again start with Boyd and Sara. They are in the woods. And they get to the place where Boyd first found the talismans, and they set this up as a point of reference. Sara says we should go further on. There's still time left, but Boyd's like, no, nobody. I've never been further than this. Nobody. It's been further than this part right here. So I'm not going to leave with just a couple hours of daylight left. So they decide to stay there for the night, which I guess is kind of smart because, I mean, you wouldn't want to venture into unknown territory when the nightfall is, upon you. And
it's about to get dark. Real dark.
Yeah.
Boyd dark.
Pretty much, yep.
That's pretty much where we're going. But you know what? This is a good wee spot to camp, so why not do it? Why not do it?
Yeah, why not do it? Then back in the town, we have the colony folks there being... There's a bunch of them being put into the post office. We've got the old guy who was picking a fight and basically says that Ellis's mum is a crazy gun freak. He's complaining about how they're all down here and he doesn't like it, and he's like giving up hope, and Donna's telling him, look, don't be a jackass, get your ass in there. They wake up the next day and they're screaming. Does that mean that there's a monster in here? No, it means that someone has hanged themselves. Now, I'm not too sure who it was. I don't even know if he had a name.
I think it was Eric.
Eric.
I think it definitely was Eric. Eric Clapton.
Eric, he hanged himself in the cell. Donna looks up and she wasn't very impressed.
I'll tell you what, right? It's the first time I felt in this show that this death just did nothing for me. Of every death, this did nothing. I know you could say, oh, well, this showed Donna's breaking point. I couldn't give a fuck about Donna's breaking point. I just feel like we just had people massacred, and what, this guy, this bum, this is the line that gets drawn in the sand.
Yeah, so again, Donna kind of gives, I don't know, doesn't really break down. She just goes...
Fence off him.
Gets very defensive and just gets distant and kind of just goes and does her own thing here. We see Kenny later in the episode. He's trying to, I guess, console her, but she's like, fuck off. At least Boyd knew when to keep his mouth shut. I guess Kenny's trying to fill that void, but Donna doesn't really want him to lecture her or, give her sympathy or anything like that.
She's basically blaming these previous offence because, you people are trying to look a ways out here. No, the reason all this shit happens because some prick called Kevin opened the window.
Yeah, she basically then says, look, she's not that bothered about Eric hanging himself. That's not what's bothering her. It's the fact that people are going to get hope. They're going to, latch on to this radio tower thing. And then she thinks when that fails, you're going to get more people like Eric who hang themselves, or more people who go out into the night and give up. So she thinks the colony house will never be the same again, and she says, I know you think all we do in the colony house is fucking drink.
That's pretty much what it is.
But the colony house was special. I don't really agree with Donna.
I think this came across as cringy. I know what she's saying is actually probably from the heart, but I just don't like this colony house. I know there'll be a percentage of viewers that's loving this colony house, but I'm all about the town.
Yeah, there's people that are probably watching this going, I'd pick the colony house if it was me, but certainly I'd be staying away from the colony house.
No, I wouldn't be. I
mean, I like Victor, but, I say I like him. He's alright. He's the best of a bad bunch.
No, it's weird though, because when the door got opened at the colony house by Kevin, the window, I didn't really was that bothered about people dying. I feel like if it was a house in the town, you'd be like, oh fuck, these people are going to die.
Well, hold on, there's like 2 people in a house and 30 odds or whatever in this colony.
I know, but they're all weird, right? I mean, Richard's alright, but that's about it.
Richard?
Pedo, Archie, what's his name?
Victor?
Victor.
Jesus
Christ. All these pedo names.
So yeah, that basically happens. So
Lunchbox, I'll call him Lunchbox.
Donna's not happy. We go back out into the woods. Sara has a seizure, and they find bottles with like scraps of paper in them, and then like Sara has a seizure. So yeah, we don't know if she's going to be okay. I know seizure. She already had one in the diner. Now she's had one out in the woods. Back in the town, they are Jim and Jade, or Jade and Jim. Call them what? Teacup. They've got all the battery power units, and they're trying to figure out how they can power the battery power to the radio, the transmission. It says it's not going to last long, it's going to run out. Jim thinks that when the batteries run out, they can simply just put them back into the cars and charge them up that way, but Jade's going, no, that's a stupid idea because it would require a lot of effort, and how much fuel do they even have left? You know, they can't afford to rely on that, because once the fuel gives up, they are done. And, you know, I kind of, how many working cars do you even have here? You know, it's different. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, it's like, I don't think that's a good idea for Jim. Thinking that, I guess it's
a
better.
Really stupid idea for Jim. Personally.
I guess it's better than nothing.
I mean, maybe I'll argue this for Jim's sake. It's like, if you're going to get the radio transmission, it shouldn't take like the 5 days worth of fuel that you've got.
Yeah, you can't. You need a better source of energy than that, because you're probably going to have to try. You know, I'm going to assume it's going to take multiple tries. Not like you're just going to power up and straight away you're going to get communication. And even if you do get communication, you're going to have to stay with that person on the line, I think. And at first, they could think you're bullshitting. They could think it's like a hoax. So, I mean, and he says it would maybe power up for 2 hours at full power. So they're really supposed to try and put power to the radio. And then after 2 hours, when all of these batteries die, they have to take them out to cars. How many working cars do we have? And there was like a lot of batteries here, probably 30 batteries. Are you telling me there's 30 cars that work in the town? Because I haven't seen 30 that work. Apparently the RV still works. Jade's car still works. But, I mean, other than that, I know, like, Sheriff, Boyd, and Kenny had a car that worked, but other than that, I don't think there's many cars that work.
How would he say there's 40 cars?
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make. I don't think there's nowhere near enough, there's not enough batteries. There might have been, like, cars that were there, but, I mean, once they're sitting there stationary, they're going to start working. So exactly. There could be cars, like, I mean, you've got that car that is
upside down.
Yeah, I mean, I highly doubt you can get that working to charge a battery. So Jade's like, look, nah, this ain't going to work. Calls him Teacup and leaves, and Jade's like, I need to go and figure out my own plan. Jade is then talking to Kenny's mother, Tai Chen, and he's saying that he needs to get electricity, but he doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to power the electricity from the house radio tower. Then Tai Chen gives him the idea to use the electricity from the townhouses. He's going, there is no electricity in the townhouses, but then she shows him the light bulb, and he realizes that just because there's no like electricity units linked to the light bulb, it doesn't really matter, because somehow there's still electricity that's powering it, even though there's nothing plugged in. So he comes to the conclusion that if he plugs something into the accessory, aka the light bulb, then it will still generate that power. And he does that, and it works.
Absolutely insane. He uses a hairdryer.
He uses a hairdryer. So, yeah, all of a sudden, now they have the power working. We go back into the forest. Sara has woken up for a seizure. They're in a tent. Sara explains that the voice she heard this time was a female voice that she's never heard before. And it instructed her to tell Boyd that his plan is a mistake and that there are worse things in the forest rather than monsters. So, I mean, what could that be? Worse things that are worse than monsters. I mean, what could we be talking about here?
Yeah, I don't know, because monsters are pretty shite in this world. Unless it's big, giant dogs or something that are like 20 foot tall. Can't really think of anything worse than that. But they do get moved about a lot here, don't they, these two?
Yeah, they make their way and they make their way further into the.
Well, I'm on about the tent. I'm on about they get moved about in the tent.
Oh yeah, so something like we don't know what it is, but there's like something like almost like attacking the tent from outside. The tent's getting pushed in lots of directions. You almost think like the tent's going to cave in at one point. It's just getting like it's not like wind. It almost looks like there's something like poking at the tent.
Yeah, and also it is clearly getting moved about because they do end up in a different location, and there's a big massive light. But again, like what's actually doing this? Like surely if there's that much force moving it, this tent would rip. It's not the biggest tent in the world.
Well, maybe it's a durable tent. Back in the town, we have Christy basically tell Kenny that she doesn't want to lose him, doesn't want him to give up hope because now he's the new sheriff, and if Boyd doesn't return, he needs to
talk to her.
Yeah, talk to her. Don't do anything. Don't kill yourself like the guy.
She's feeling sad about the guy that hung himself, and we don't. So
yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just hard to really care about this guy.
It's a very weird death. It seemed like if it had the most effect on all the characters. Like Favre died. No one really. Who really cared about him when he died? If we're being honest, like who's shown sadness for his death?
No one really.
This guy dies, man. It's like,
I don't really get it. Back inside the Matthews house, we see what's her name, the mother Tabitha, continuing to dig, and then she hits something, so she comes to like the end of her digging. She can no longer dig. She's at the last point. The bottom. Then we go back to the tent, and we see the content. It's still shaking ferociously. It's pushing a bit. The talisman actually falls off at one point, and Boyd like rushing to find it. He's like, "Oh shit, where's the talisman? Where's the talisman?" And he's looking for it. He manages to find it, and he hangs it back up. And then they hear like the foghorns.
Now, big scary foghorns and scenario. Maybe they're that far out. The monsters aren't here, and the thing that Sarah's on about roams these parts.
I mean, it sounded like a foghorn.
Yeah, but what could it be? We obviously hear like a siren head, where it's like these big creatures have got like a siren for a head. But I mean, maybe that's going to be.
Are you thinking Silent Hill shit here?
Aye.
It did sound a bit like that Siren Hill, which I guess is also a siren.
Head.
A foghorn or siren, whatever. So we hear that, and then there's like a big, massive light that shines onto the tent. However, we don't know what this light is. It's just a light, and it basically kind of blinds Boyd and Sarah. And that's where the episode then comes to an end with them in the tent and some massive light.
They like teleported to like the sea, and it was like a massive ship, and that's the light and the noise.
I don't think that happened, but fair enough.
Fair enough. We'll find out soon. But we have to rate the episode, and I feel like it was a bit of a weird, retarded episode. I think it sets up the finale, but it did feel a bit filler to me, and also that death just felt weird.
I didn't like it, guys. For me, it was my least favourite episode of the series. I'm going to give it a 5.
Oh, boom, 2 5s.
There you go, guys. Two 5s. I'm going to give it a simple.
Make a 10, but
no, not nowhere near 10. But a 5 out of 10. I mean, it's not bad. I guess in a 10 episode season, if a 5 out of 10 is the worst rating you give an episode, then that's not bad. I mean, we literally watch some shows where a 5 out of 10 is probably the best rating. Exactly. Give an episode, so 5 out of 10 is not bad. Sets us up for the finale. Will we get any deaths in the finale, or will everyone survive? I don't know. I would argue we've already had quite a lot of important deaths already. So who knows? Maybe the finale will skip some deaths, or maybe we'll get 1 or 2. I guess we'll have to find it. That's it. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one, and that is it, guys. Till episode 10, till the finale. Peace.